As we join our intrepid hero, we see that Mr. Major Plothole is currently working on his newest creation. Hard at work, under terrible conditions. Let's listen to him now. Okay, gotta just add a cup of flour, 3 eggs, 2 spoons of hot sauce, 3 cubes of bouillon, touch of nitroglycerin, 8 tears of my enemies, reverse the polarity of the toaster, and... Eureka! My Pop-Tarts, they be ready. Well, now that I've invented something, you didn't invent Pop-Tarts. That leads to the question, what about other inventions? What inventions in our lives today have affected us the most? What are some we cannot live without, but don't necessarily know, on average, where they come from? One comes to mind, and that's where we're heading to today. Narrator, dial us back to 1890 something. We're going to watch them make television. So let's say you're like, well, I can easily beat you to the punch, Mr. Major Plothole, and you Google the crap out of who invented the television. Well, you're going to get the guy we call the father of television, Philo Farnsworth. But while he was very instrumental in the further development of the process of televising and television itself, he didn't invent the actual television set. He just made it better. The actual invention of the television is what we'll be talking about today. We will be focusing more on television and less on movies and the filming of both. So let's get started, shall we? So of course we're going back to the 1890s, but the story of television starts as early as the 1840s, when Alexander Bain first faxed an image using a telegraph. Pretty cool, right? Knowing we could use electricity to not just telegraph sound, but to also use it to transmit picture. The Pandora's box of the future of television became open. To help with this, in 1884, the Nipkow disc was invented by Paul Nipkow, which made it much easier for images to be transmitted over wire. Soon after that, in 1897, the cathode ray tube, or CRT, was invented by Ferdinand Braun. While neither invention is a television, both helped greatly in the inventing of television. In 1907, Boris Rosing used a CRT as part of a receiver for a video signal, which essentially was the first CRT monitor. A CRT monitor, if you don't know what that is, it's this. It's like those old school computer monitors your public school probably still has because #funding sucks. In 1911, Boris and his student Vladimir Zworykin used the CRT again to send images, but the result was crude and moving images were impossible due to the low sensitivity and slow refresh rate. In 1924, my man Kalman Tihani solved this problem of low sensitivity in transmitting devices, like video cameras, by inventing a camera tube that could store an electrical charge. From all this tech, Tihani invented a televising system called the radioscope. He then promptly tried to get it patented in the UK, but no dice, the Brits weren't having it. So he sent it to the US, who were all, "Sure, man, we'd be glad to patent that for you," and promptly lost it. They promptly lost the patent application in what I can only assume was the same vault they keep the Ark of the Covenant, the only remaining copy of the Star Wars Christmas special, Hitler's mustache, and the last Cleveland Browns championship team. All things that will likely never be seen again. On March 25th, 1925, John Logie Baird, a Scotsman, gave the first public demonstration of televised silhouettes in motion. He further experimented with sending more complex images, but human faces lacked sufficient contrast to be visible on the monitors he was using, so he made do with ventriloquist dummies that had been painted with a higher contrast paint. In 1926, Baird demonstrated the first transmission of a live human face in motion via television. The quality was low, consisting of only 30 lines. On Christmas of that year in Japan, Kenjiro Takayanagi demonstrated a TV system that used a CRT display and had a 40-line resolution. This was the first working example of a fully electronic television receiver. In 1927, Baird transmitted a signal over 400 miles between London and Glasgow. In 1928, Baird's company broadcasted the first transatlantic television signal between London and New York, as well as the first shore-to-ship transmission. The world's first television station was also started this year. It was based in the General Electric facility in Schenectady, New York. In the U.S., RCA created the iconoscope, heavily taking from De Haen's radioscope designs, which were still not patented at this point. By 1933, Baird's technology had advanced significantly, and BBC broadcasts using his tech were amazingly clear. In 1936, Baird's system peaked at 240 lines of resolution for BBC TV broadcasts. So this is all very interesting, Major Plot, I hear you say between yawns, but why the hell should I care? Well, maybe you shouldn't, but you have to understand something, random internet person who's currently questioning my wisdom. The people who invented the television were people, just like you and me. There are some very interesting stories about some of the inventors of the time, about how Tiahni helped pave the way for plasma TVs back in 1936 when he first suggested that it was possible. Baird is one of my personal heroes. Inventing was his passion, and he tried his best to do what he could for the human race. He struggled. He was ill quite a lot, and frequently would spend whatever money he'd made from the last invention he did, and sail the world. But his best trip, in my opinion, and I bet he would agree, was his trip to South Africa, where he met a lady. His fortune in South Africa soured, however, until a friend and fellow inventor invited him to New York. His friend, who knew about the lady John had met in South Africa, had said to him, "Hey, why not invite that young woman to New York with you?" Which was, quite a big deal, seeing as how it was, 1920s. I guess he took it one step forward, and when she accepted and sailed all by herself, which was a huge deal considering it was the 1930s for a single woman to travel by herself to meet him. When she got there, the story goes, he proposed on the spot. They were married and had several children together. Farnsworth was actually only 16 when he first proposed the image dissector, which replaced the Nipkow disc. He was the only inventor of TV who actually won any of the lawsuits against RCA thanks to his high school teacher, who'd saved his invention schematics on a chalkboard for almost a decade. Farnsworth was never rich, mind you, but he was paid royalties by RCA for his invention. My point with all this, of course, is that they were people. They were all people. These inventors who helped pave the way for the nightly news, BBC, PBS, HBO, MTV, SportsCenter, and all the sitcoms that you love. Without them, we wouldn't have shitty celebrities, but we wouldn't also have the classy ones either. I like to think their vision of what television would bring the world was more akin to a serviceman deployed to a far-off place on the opposite end of the earth, able to see the birth of his child here in his home country. Surgeons able to place cameras into the human body to guide their instruments. Security cameras preventing theft and murder. Television is important to us. It's not just something that connects us, but it's also shrunk our world. During the times of Baird, Tiahni, and Farnsworth, and the travesties committed during wars, the famines, the earthquakes, and other natural disasters were written about as blurbs and forgotten. But humans are highly visual learners. That's probably why do-it-yourself videos are so successful. When television was invented, the world didn't know it, but it had shrunk down several sizes. When international telecasting agencies sprouted up, it shrunk even further. When the newscasters began to embed themselves into armies, relief efforts, and missions, it shrunk even further. At the touch of a button, and with the right time of day, we could learn all about an indigenous people we never heard about. We could see the moon. We were right along the sports heroes as they crossed the finish line or scored the final points for their team and country. With television, we mourn together. We laugh together. We share a bond in humanity that surpasses all the Kardashians, the Maury Poviches, and the daytime dramas. We are connected. And the more TV and its ilk develop, the more we become a united people. But maybe it isn't all budding roses and beautifully smelling daffodils. Dictators and governments keen on supplanting the images and information they need to stay in or take power use television. With the easy manipulation of video and other things, we run the risk of false information, believing only what we can see physical proof of. And to a degree, we've lost a large part of our collective imagination. So, is it worth it? I ask you. Is it worth us wading through the thoughtless television and the false information to potentially learn something new about a people, a place, or humanity itself? I, of course, have my opinion, but I'd like to hear yours. So tell me in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.